Welcome to the Doug and Commish Show. This is the championship week. And again, we appreciate the 6 of you that are going to be viewing this. Probably Chapman's family and Steven's family. That said, still going to do the show. The show must go on.
Must go on, Dougie.
Commish, how's your week been?
So far, Dougie, it's been glorious. Trying to figure out a couple spots here on my roster. Trying to not glory too much in my victory over the Beans.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a lot of emotions, but all in all, it's pretty good.
So when you think about last week's victory over the Beans, you had mentioned on the show that you thought you were going to lose by 15. What do you think was the big turnaround? What do you think was the big change?
As far as my team goes, they did maybe even a little bit better than we usually do, getting in the upper 90s. It was a complete fail on the Dougie's part of his receivers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the heck happened. They just didn't play. I mean, Welker, what do you have, 4?
Yeah, 4.
And that's not right. Reggie Wayne, 3, 5, something
3,
like that. It's just
San Antonio at 4, yep.
It doesn't make any sense. It's just pure destiny that Trash has had in this league for 7 years now. That's just the way that it works.
And then on Chapman's side of things, he was able to beat Bertucci. Bertucci's team just decided to take a week off as well, it seems.
I think they both did. I mean, Adrian Peters, what was it, 71 to 62 or something awkward like that? It was like they were in the loser bracket.
Yep.
So hopefully Soldier brings something a little more this week than he did last week, because it would be embarrassing if that's what he brought to the championship game. But they both had some issues. Owens went out early for the White Trash, and Adrian Peterson went out early, or actually didn't play at all for Soldier. But they're both misfits anyway.
Yep. Well, as we get towards this, we have obviously we have the Soldier, the number 1 seed, and the number 2 seed. Really seems the way it's supposed to be, more or less, for the championship game. To the best of my knowledge, this is Soldier's first trip to the championship game. Am I correct on this?
You are correct.
And this is Trash Talk's second trip. He is third trip. He is 1-1, and I lost last year, obviously, to the Nips, and he won a few years back when the league was inept and didn't have any real GMs. I think who was it? Jake was running the league then.
Jake, DJ was in it. Some one-eared bandit named Heath was in it. Aronofsky was in it. There's a couple misfits, but some high-quality misfits.
Yeah. So, but anyway, we have Trash Talk versus Soldier, so we'll get right to it. And a little bit later on in the show, we'll be going over our toilet bowl game involving the Doughboy and the Jockey. But first, let's get to talk about the number 2 seed, Trash. Trash has some pretty tough matchups with Matt Ryan and Roddy White going against basically like one of the best defenses as far as fantasy is concerned against the passing and the quarterback in New Orleans.
Yeah, it's very true. And really, I would be extremely happy if they both just had the same type of numbers they had the first time they played them, with 18 and 13 respectively. I think that I'd be pretty excited about that. I love the fact that it's at home. But yeah, I mean, the Saints are a tough defense all around to go against.
This will pretty much clinch the division for them if they win. Am I correct in this?
Yep.
So it's a pretty big, important game for Atlanta. I'm sure they'll show up. Chris Johnson versus Kansas City, and Run DMC against Indianapolis, who has a pretty poor run defense.
Yeah, and this is Dougie. I mean, this is the Trash's bread and butter. The Trash has to have 20 apiece out of these guys to get in the 90s.
Now, last week, with your receivers, besides Roddy White and your tight end, you were looking for 6. I think you got 6 points out of them. It's going to have to change this week. Right?
Yeah, and it's a little embarrassing. But my receivers below. They've been horrible since the beginning of the year. I'm thinking about rolling Hernandez as my third receiver, and then hoping to catch something fresh out of Armstrong to go deep, who's finally starting. My receivers, I don't build on them. I'll play whoever's there and see what happens.
On Soldier side of things, he's got Green Bay and Eli Manning looking for a comeback from the disappointing loss to Philadelphia. But he's got Green Bay, and you've got A.J. Hawk and Clay Matthews and Woodson. He's got a lot of elements to do.
Raji, yeah. I don't like the Manning play here, but Manning is always good for mid-teens, even when he blows. So he'll be okay.
AP against Philadelphia, how healthy is he?
It's not looking good for AP.
Do you think they shut him down?
I think he shut himself down. I think that he got there and he's like, this field is not right. I'm in a contract year. I want a lot of money, and I'm not risking it on this college field that resembled a Nappy Fieldhouse.
It did.
The field was horrible.
Yeah.
I think he pulled himself, and he's going to be looking to do a 50-50 split this week with Gearhart.
Do you pull yourself? Rumor has it that's what happens.
Sometimes. Sure.
Gotta do what you gotta do. LT against Chicago, a tough matchup there. Chicago just has a tough defense. Now, obviously, the Patriots embarrassed them, but they had a comeback week against a piss-poor Vikings team last week.
Yeah, so true. LT is struggling right now. I think he's been a couple weeks since he's gotten out of the 5-point range. And he's starting to split carries. His body's starting to wear down like a 38-year-old that he is. Going up against a great run D. I don't see a whole lot of voluptuous things happen for LT this week.
Okay.
Probably around the 5 to 8 that he's been getting.
Now, it comes to his wide receivers, and that's where you're concerned.
That's where he has home run capability.
Bo.
Andre Johnson, Bo.
Brandon
Marshall against the loins. I mean, this is where his bread and butter is. There's a couple of saving graces for the trash, but you got Finnegan, who basically owns Bo. That's nice if he guards him.
Do you think he'll fight Bo?
Oh, that'd be awesome. Ejection early, wrap this thing up for the trash. Not likely, but who knows? But his receivers have good matchups, and it's dangerous area.
What's interesting about this is Boss from New York. Is it just me, or does he do nothing all year long until from basically week 12 on, he decides that he wants to be a pass catcher in the touchdown zone? I mean, it's happened the last 2-3 years. Am I right on that?
You're right. It all revolves around the running game and the play action pass. You get the linebacker sucked in, and then he's sneaking behind him, and there's Boss for a 20-yard TD.
The real matchup that might be the real difference maker is Pittsburgh against Carolina. Carolina's terrible.
Yeah.
They have given up 23 fantasy points to Baltimore, and one would argue that Pittsburgh's way better defense than Baltimore is.
It wouldn't be that big of an argument. I think Pittsburgh is by far a better defense than the Ravens. The Polamalu character's not playing, so that's one small bit of news. But while this is a great matchup, let's not throw away the matchup of the Chargers for the trash against the just as horrible Cincinnati Bengals with no Owens and Ocho probably not playing by coach's decision.
Yeah. The thing that would make me nervous about the San Diego one is their special teams isn't that great either.
It's not good at all.
So that's why I would be a little bit worried about them. But as far as straight up defense, I couldn't agree with you more.
But I believe the Jets returned a touchdown against the almighty perfect Steelers.
That is true. That's factually correct. Anyway, well, I'll go ahead and let you give your prediction here.
I can't go this far and pick myself almost every week to lay down like a pit and turf now. I am taking myself 110-104 in what will come down to Monday Night Madness. I need to be down by less than 35 points come Monday night when I have Ryan, White, and Bryant, my kicker. If I'm under 35, I like my chances. If the Soldier had a great Sunday and he's up by more than 35, it's going to be tough. But I like what I've got going on.
I'm going to take the Soldier, and I think it's going to come down to a Matt Bryant mistake. And I think
you're going to lose because of a kicker.
I think you're going to lose because of a kicker, and I think you'll hate him as a result, and we'll never own him. It'll be the whole Mason Crosby rule. But I'm going to take the Soldier and getting his first championship and bringing the championship home to the Knoll division.
It won't be home. It will be like the championship trophy. We'll wonder where it's at.
Yeah.
That's awkward.
But anyway, in the loser bracket, the toilet bowl, we do have another Lombardi and Knoll division playing each other, and it's Doughboy versus Jockey, and I think we're both going to take Doughboy here. He's just, thank the Lord above he didn't make the playoffs.
Seriously, I'd be out.
I would be too. I don't think anybody has scored as much as he has in the playoffs.
He's smoking right now.
Yep.
And try and grasp this, Dougie. Michael Vick didn't play the whole season, and he's by far the number one QB in the GFO.
Yeah.
That's got MVP for me. It was Hillis, and he's taken a turd lately.
Oh, yeah.
So Vic has moved himself right into MVP consideration in the GFO.
Yeah.
He's putting up some serious numbers. He's playing against the Vikings team that has quit.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, I'm taking the Doughboys. I don't see why he wouldn't put up a $130 again.
Yeah, no kidding. Anyway, one last note. Lions have won 2 in a row. They won their first home game in quite a long time. How do you feel as a Lions fan?
Dirty. I don't know if it's real. I mean, Calvin Johnson's real. Sue's real.
Mm-hmm.
They've got some realness going on. But seriously, Stanton.
Yeah.
I hate Michigan State and I hate Stanton, but I love the fact that the Lions have won 2 in a row. It's been.
I mean, this goes back to the glory days of the 80s and 90s.
It's been a long time since we put together a streak.
It's been fun.
Granted, it hasn't been great teams, but the Bucks were or are a playoff team. So I love the moxie they got going on. They don't quit. They play dirty. I love that about a Detroit team, any Detroit team.
Yeah.
So it's nice, Dougie.
I would say the same thing, and I think maybe it was the fact that we didn't go this year to the game that might have reversed the curse.
It's possible, but next year we're going.
And expect an 0-16 game. That's it for the championship week. Doug and Commish Show. May all your fantasy players be studs for the final week of fantasy to take a long break until next year.
Yes.